Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a while, and this video is about how to become fluent in English. I've been kept getting this request from one of my students that to make a video on how to become fluent in English. Actually, I'm not an expert, but this I think the 5 tips that works for me. But it depends on what particular type of learner you are. If you're a fast learner, or if you're not a slow learner, but if you're in the intermediate, then it's up to you. All right, so tip number 5 is always listen to English songs or watch English movies. So the keyword here is to immerse, which means you have to always understand what you are listening for and what you are watching. Let's say, for example, there are words or conversations that you do not know, but it's most appropriately to look for the word whenever you feel that you are doubting of the meaning of what the characters or the actors are talking about, especially in movies. And number 4 is to imitate what you hear. American speakers tend to speak more faster and much softer. Unlike us Filipinos, we tend to stick with our pronunciation. Sometimes the letter T becomes P. So I really advise that you imitate what you hear. Third tip is to try to answer some questions in English. Let's say, for example, basic questions. If you are chatting with a friend or if you're talking to someone, then try to use the conversation most of the time. You can skip from your mother tongue or your first language, and then if the other person is asking you in Tagalog, you could say that, oh, I really want to learn English, so you can answer some basic questions in English. It's one way on how to motivate you, and it's one way of self-practice, okay? So number 2 is to read and write it down. For example, you've been reading books and you don't know what's the meaning of that particular word. So you can look for the meaning of that word in a dictionary, and that is effective because every day, imagine how many words will you be able to learn. There are 365 days in a year. So more likely you're going to be learning 365 words in a year, right? So every day look for a new word and its meaning and how to use it in a sentence. And number 1 is practice. Use it every second, every minute, every hour, every day of your life. Why? Because practice makes perfect. If you will just learn the grammar, or if you will just learn a new vocabulary and then you don't use it, there's no point of using it anyway. So there's a lesser chance that you're gonna know how to use it properly when you are conversing in English, because conversation and just merely learning a language are 2 different things. So when you converse or when you use it for speaking, never mind if you've been starting with a we're not particular here with grammar. You should remove that from your perspective, that you have to have a perfect grammar before you will even start talking in English. So I think that's it. But we are different types of people and different types of learners, right? So it's up to you if you're gonna follow the advice, or those are just tips. But it's also up to you if what kind of tip you're comfortable most using. You can comment below if you've been doing this, and so what are the progress, or if you still want some tips like this, you can always drop down a message for me to make another video. Okay, as you can see, I'm in a different setting. This is actually my mini home office. This is actually a bedroom, but I just it turned out to be a work office for me at one side, because I'm more comfortable working in a quiet space. So basically, this is where I edit and make some of my paperworks. And so that's it. I hope you learned something today. And don't forget to subscribe and like the channel. If you have some questions, you can always drop a message and comment below. Okay, bye.
유난히도 캄캄한 밤에 나 홀로 너를 생각하네. 이런 기분 설명할 수 없어. 원래 이맘쯤 너와의 여행을 생각했었는데 네가 좋아하던 와인과 선물을 준비했겠지. 기뻐할 너를 상상하며. 근데 왜 이런 생각을 하면서 너를 추억만 하게 된 건지. 어쩌다 너와 나 왜 이렇게 끝난 건지. 너를 기억하면 난 가슴이 아파와. 어쩌다 너와 나 이렇게 잊혀진다면 다시 사랑할 수 없을 것 같아. 그날의 나는 내게 너무 낯설었겠지. 내 맘과 다르게 너에게 상처를 줬으니. 사랑한다는 말로도 부족했던 너에게 내가 너무 잘못한 것 같아. 너와 나의 다른 생각이 결국엔 우리를 서로